As I mentioned, it was really hard for me to come to do these shows. Just with everything that has happened for me, like I've gone through like a faith crisis this year, and when that happens, you have a hard time when you've identified yourself with your faith and as a Christian, and that's where your identity is. And once that starts to crumble a bit, you just feel like, okay, now what? Like, who am I? I don't know. And it kind of started started, I guess, a year and a half ago, because just when you go through life and try to understand yourself better and come to terms with yourself, you sometimes things don't always fit, or people don't always agree with where you're finding yourself at in your life. And for me, last year, I was engaged to a girl, a really wonderful girl. And it was the third time that I had gotten engaged. And I was trying really hard to make it work. I started getting really bad anxiety attacks, and I couldn't understand. I knew in the back of my head what was going on, but in the front of my mind, I was just like, no, I don't want to accept that, because I've worked so hard all my life to try, and you have this picture, perfect scenario that you want. That's like your goal. Like, okay, especially being raised with my faith, I wanted a family. I wanted to be married and have this wonderful family and live happily ever after. And I tried that 3 times. And what was interesting is these girls, all of them said the same thing to me. They kept saying, "You're so cold. Like, why do you feel so distant?" And one of them, I remember her very clearly saying, she's like, "I'm used to feeling loved. I don't feel that from you. You're so cold." And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm doing everything I know how to. Like, I'm spending time with you. I'm like, here, like, what more do you need to feel loved? We're here at my mom's house. You're spending time with my family. I'm here right next to you. I try to talk to you on the phone for as long as I'm able to. And she just said, she's like, but I'm used to feeling adored. Like, and you feeling that love, and I don't feel that from you. And at first I was like, man, is like this girl spoiled or something? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what else more I could be doing. And I think, again, like in the back of my mind, I knew, but I just felt like, no, I can't accept that. Like, I'm not allowed to, like, admit what may be happening. And then, I got engaged a second time. And she was saying the same thing. She's like, why do you feel so distant? And I'm like, what more am I supposed to be doing? But after this third time, and how amazing this girl was, and having these anxiety attacks, and feeling this anger and this bitterness build up inside you for that person, like, you start feeling like even hatred for this girl who hasn't done anything wrong. But I think I was projecting what I was feeling for myself, because no matter how hard I tried, and as much as I just tried to go through with what I thought was the right thing to do, I knew that I wasn't being honest. And I think they could tell, like, I may be doing everything I'm supposed to, but it doesn't mean I wasn't able to desire them the way that they deserved to. And I didn't feel like it was fair to pretend. Even though I thought, well, if I do it, it won't be pretending. But if people want to feel loved and desired, they should receive that. Especially if they're capable of receiving it. And I'm just not that person for them. But in my head, I was like, I need to keep pushing through. And I got to a point where I was having such bad anxiety attacks and feeling so much anger. I was like, I can't see you anymore. I need like 3 weeks just to myself. And I was like working so hard to pray, and I was fasting, like going without food and water, just to show like that I was showing my faith to God, to see like, I want to make this work, please. Like, I've been trying so many times now, like, what is wrong? Like, and I knew it was like about to pop and just explode, but I didn't want that. I was so scared to accept that, the thought that, okay, well, David, you like guys. But that was something I didn't want to accept. I'm like, you know, I believed that if I accepted that fact, I was going to be bad. And I wasn't even trying. I'm like, I'm trying to marry a girl. I've been trying to marry a girl. Why isn't this working? Why can't I have those feelings just come? And, but it got to a point where I'm like, if I keep pushing myself into this relationship, I don't want this to happen. Like, they deserve more than what I can give to them. And it's clear, like, I think they know. That's why they're bringing it up. And, I started feeling numb because I was like, no, I'm going to keep praying, keep trying at this. I've been doing that since I was little. You know, people started talking about who they were into and who they liked. And my sisters, when I would talk to them, I'm like, how do you know if you like someone? And they're like, well, do you feel like holding their hand? Do you feel like you want to give them a kiss? And I would get so mad. Because I'm like, why does that matter? That's not what love should be about anyway. Because I knew where my feelings went if I was basing it off of that. And so I started praying. I spent these 3 weeks away from my ex-fiance, praying and just saying, God, please, like, change me. I don't know, like, what more I need to do. Like, I found a great girl, and like, but I don't know how to remove this hate that I'm feeling. And she doesn't deserve to feel that hate. Like, you feel like it's gonna just start overflowing onto them. You're projecting the hate that you feel for yourself onto other people who you're supposed to be loving. And how is that fair? And I was talking to one of my friends. She had married someone and they had 5 kids, and 4 of them were even missionaries, and he was like serving in church leadership, and everyone was like, you have such the ideal family, we want to be like you. But she found some things, and she found out her husband was part of the LGBT community, and she confronted him about it, and he was so ashamed. He thought he had done such a good job to hide that part of him. And it just exploded. It exploded, and it just popped because he couldn't hold it in any longer, and he started abusing her. And she said, I wasn't mad that he was the way he was. I was just mad that he was hurting me and abusing me. I know that's deep stuff, but what was scary was I was engaged at this time with this girl, and I knew she was telling me the story because she was just talking about hard things she went through, and I was like, I can relate so much to what he is feeling, because I'm already starting to feel it, and I don't want to put anyone through that. And so there I was praying and saying, like, God, please change me, please. Like, what more do I need to do? You start, and you don't hear anything, and you've been praying for so many years since you were like a young teenager. When you start feeling feelings for other people, like, why am I different? Like, why am I not like everyone else? Like, why am I not straight? Why can't I, if I just work on it? And you spend like 15, 16, 17 years doing that, and you realize, you start feeling scared and terrified because you realize, no matter how many years I try this is not gonna change. And so you start thinking, maybe there's something wrong with me. Like, maybe I did something to make God mad, and he made me like this because he hates me. And you start feeling like, well, maybe I'm just cursed. And I don't want to be evil, but I don't know what else I can do to change me. And so you start thinking, well, maybe, but I can feel this is just going to keep happening. It's going to eventually, I can't suppress it forever. You're eventually just going to explode. It's going to consume you, and you just feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I should just not be here anymore. Because then if I'm not here, maybe at least I won't be consumed by this feeling that I know is just a part of me. And so you start thinking, well, maybe if I just drive really fast and go off to the side, it will look like I did it on accident and it wasn't intentional. That way my family won't feel like they did something, they couldn't have done any more for me. I don't want to leave them, but at the same time, I don't want to be here and be evil. So you just start getting desperate and you just start feeling depressed, and these thoughts just start consuming you because you're just scared of yourself, and you think maybe God doesn't like me and I'm just going to be a disappointment anyway. And there's just one moment where I just felt something, and I was like, I think that's God. That's what I always knew as God, this peaceful, clear feeling. And I just got on my knees right there and I just said, God, please, if you are really there, and if you have a purpose for me, please take this away from me, because I'm so tired of this. I don't know what else to do, and I don't want to be bad. But I'm so tired, and I'm just exhausted because I don't know what else I can do. And I just heard this so clearly to me, this response, and it said, David, you need to stop asking me this. You can see at this point of your life, you've been praying about this for over half your life now, and you see that it's not something that's going to change, because I don't intend to change it. Well, you're trying to change something I don't intend to change, because I don't see anything wrong with you. And I said, at first I was like, I wasn't expecting that. I thought I was going to hear, from all of your faith and your struggles, you have proven yourself worthy. I'm going to make you straight now. But it wasn't that. So I was just like, okay. I was just like, but I don't want to mess up. And then God responded, he's like, well, then perhaps you need to do what you think are mistakes. Don't you realize, David, I give you permission to make mistakes. You're allowed to make mistakes. And as you do what you think are mistakes, you're going to realize a lot of the things that you thought were mistakes aren't. And if you do mess up, that's what I'm here for. You can always come to me and we'll work through it together. See, but I don't see you the same way you see you. I don't see you the same way a lot of well-meaning, faith-following people see you. But you need to stop asking me this. And I knew what that meant. I was like, okay, I guess that means I need to get to know guys. Something that was the worst thing that I thought could have happened. And y'all, I literally thought that it would be better to not be here and not exist anymore than to get to that point, to allow myself to like a guy. And I know a lot of other people have gone through that. I've heard people now that when I posted publicly about how I was entirely and being part of the LGBT community, I have received thousands of messages of people going through the same thing, saying, I'm like you, but I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And people who've said, I'm thinking about, ending things because I'm scared of myself and I don't want to be like this. But when I decided to trust in that guidance I received, and I realized I don't have to hate myself. I can be okay with myself, even as I am. Something I never thought was okay before. It was so beautiful. I felt refreshed. And I felt like I was finally able to see myself as the great creator saw me, because that's how he made me. I don't know why, but now I can look at myself and be grateful for how I am. And know that I can love someone and care about them, even if it looks differently from what's like the normal, typical for the general population. And, so many people think like, it's like, oh, it's so, all that LGBT people think are like, it's just lustful and it's like all dark. And it's like, for me, it's just like, I want to see how someone's day is going. I want to see, it's having lunch with them, or watching a movie and holding their hand, and giving them a hug. Like, things that are normally when you feel love for someone. You want to help them reach their goals, you want to help them be a better person, or start a family, even if it's doesn't look the same way as what most people would get to have. Like in, like a normal picture of what people would think a family looks like. But if you know anyone who is LGBT, I just ask that you have compassion for them and understanding. And if you know someone who's going through a hard time, please be there for them. I've met parents who's like, we lost a kid. I met someone this morning. She said, my son's gay, and my husband, who I married, his son was gay, and because of that, he felt like he didn't deserve to live, so he decided to not be here anymore and take his life. But I hope you know that doesn't have to be it. You can still have joy, you can feel loved, and you can be happy. Embracing you as you are. You still deserve to be here and deserve to love as you are to who you want to love. And you can still contribute beautifully. It's beautiful to be queer. That's what I had to learn for myself. But please give yourself compassion. If you feel a little different from others and you feel misunderstood, you matter. You deserve to be here, and keep going. If you felt alone, know that I'm here with you. You're not alone, okay? But this song is a song I had in a dream a few years ago. And it's funny because I was actually praying about the same thing I'd been praying about for most of my life, that I was talking about. And I call it my little prayer. Heavenly Father, I am grateful for your eternal presence. I am learning to be patient, and that you are really there. Sometimes I am afraid, and I know that's lacking faith, but I'm beginning to understand that for me you have a plan. Heavenly Father, I am grateful for you sending your Son to die so that I live, and for never giving up. I'm learning every day that I won't always have my way, but I'm beginning to understand that for me you have a plan. For you hearing my prayer, I am learning to be patient, and that you are really there. There are answers I and I kneel down in prayer. You've shown me you hear my prayers. I'm amazed by how you care, 'cause you hear my little prayer. We're going to end with the bang here, all right? So if you want to get up here and have a good time and get jiggy with it again, it's Christmas every day, so.